Now let's look at the last and one of the most important topics in Java, which is known as multi-threading. Multi-threading is something which you might use in a lot of real-world applications, and specifically because you want your programs to be very, very efficient. Now, what is multi-threading? Before even talking about multi-threading, I actually want to tell you about multitasking and multi-programming. Now, if you have any background with operating systems, you would know these topics. You would know that any operating system, let's say I work on Windows and somebody else might be working on Mac. But in any operating system which we use, we are able to do multiple things at the same time. So I can be browsing on my Google Chrome tab, and I can also be writing something on Microsoft Word, let's say, and I can also be, drawing something on Paint or any other program which I want to use. I can just, open it up and work on multiple things at the same time. Now, as a user, when I'm actually working with the computer, let's say I'm typing in a particular text editor, and it is actually supposed to be catering to me first, right? Whatever I type, it should be able to type on the text editor in real time as I'm using it. But in between my typing, it still gets a few microseconds, let's say, and in those microseconds, it would want to do something else as well, right? Because waiting for input from the user takes a lot of time. The user might be thinking, the user might take some time, between two keystrokes, etc. Now, that time is like pretty crucial for a CPU, because CPU works within microseconds, right? It's not a human being which takes at least a few milliseconds to process certain things and then, input within the next few milliseconds, etc. So all the small chunks of time is something which is available for the CPU to actually work on something else. So for example, within my own application, for example, I have my Google Chrome tab, and within the Google Chrome as well, I want to actually work on multiple tabs. That is something which Google Chrome provides me with that functionality, right? And that is known as multitasking. So we do have multi-programming happening over here. We do have multiple programs working. We have Google Chrome, we have Microsoft Word, we have Paint, we have, any other text editor, my Eclipse IDE open, my PowerPoint open. There might be multiple programs running at the same time in my CPU, in my operating system. At the same time, in each program, the program would give me opportunity to actually do some other multitasking as well. Now, what is multitasking in a simple way? For example, you are, cooking in your kitchen. While cooking, is it that you only cook and you absolutely don't want to do anything else? Obviously, if you are like very passionate about cooking, you might be cooking, but at the same time, you might be checking some other blogs of cooking, some other videos on your mobile about, the same recipe which you're trying to do. Or probably if you're not very interested in cooking, but you still have to cook, you might want to, for example, your food is cooking on the stove, you might want to check something on WhatsApp, on Telegram, or on your, social media websites while the thing is happening. You might also be talking to somebody else, in the other room while you are cooking in the kitchen. Now, all these things are happening simultaneously. And this is known as multitasking. You are actually, doing multitasking. You are cooking, you're talking to somebody, or you're replying to somebody on WhatsApp. That is multitasking which you're doing. And what is the benefit of multitasking? The first and the most important benefit is that you are able to do multiple things at the same time. You don't have to actually complete a particular task to go ahead and do something. So you do have some time, between two tasks in cooking. So for example, you are waiting for, something to get cooked before you actually start garnishing it as well. In between that time, you do have some time, right? So you are able to do multiple things at the same time. And what is that helping you in? It is helping you in increasing throughput. So you are increasing in your productivity. By the time your food is cooked, you also have, replied to people on WhatsApp. You might have, completed a particular video on YouTube. You might have, done something while you were cooking. So both the things got completed at the same time, or things happened, faster for you compared to if you would have only been cooking, and then once the cooking was done, then you went on ahead and watched, that particular tutorial, or, talked on WhatsApp with somebody. So the first and the most important thing is that it helps you increase your throughput, increase your efficiency. And the next important thing which happens is that, for example, if some problem happens while you were doing something, for example, you were, wanting to reply on WhatsApp, but then your phone battery suddenly died. But at least you were able to continue cooking, and then, you have cooked food by the end of that amount of time, even though you were not able to, completely reply on WhatsApp or complete your tutorial on the phone. So multitasking really helps you in actually, not wasting your time a lot if, something fails. And to do this particular multitasking within a particular program, that is something which we do using multi-threading. Now you might say that, why do we actually need to create multiple threads or create multiple things in the particular program itself? Why not generate new programs? So this is the same argument, for example, creating new tabs in a Google Chrome browser, or actually opening multiple Google Chrome browser, themselves. Now, if you actually, want to take things fast in the kitchen, let's say, you call your friend or, any family member with whom you're staying, and then you ask, him or her to do some tasks while you're doing something else. So, for example, while you are chopping, the other person can, prepare the seasoning. Or while you are cooking, the other person can prepare the garnishing items, These things really help in multitasking. If you would argue that, instead of actually adding threads to my own kitchen, why can't I actually, work on the same thing in multiple kitchens, so you actually get your neighbors also involved in their own kitchens, doing the same thing, and all those things. So obviously this is not feasible. You won't want to generate new programs, you won't want to write new programs to do the task which you want to do fast. You want to actually improve the multitasking capabilities of your own program. You want to improve the multitasking capabilities within your own kitchen instead of getting other people's kitchen involved. Okay, that is the same argument which we have for creating new programs or having multitasking within our own program. So if I can actually do multitasking within my own program, I would not want to write a new program, generate a new program and get that in the main memory. So I hope you understood why we would ever want to look into multi-threading and multitasking within the same program which we are doing. Now, there are two things. One is a program which I have written in Java, and another is the process. When we actually get that written program from the disk to the main memory for the operating system to work on, that is known as a process. So the same thing, it is the program, it is written in Java, but when you actually start running it in the main memory by the operating system, that is known as the process. And each process has at least one thread. Now, what are threads? Thread is a lightweight sub-process, okay? You have your own program running, which is known as a process, and each process has at least one thread running. But you could also have multiple sub-processes within your own process. Just like I said, you could have multiple cooks inside the same kitchen, each of them helping in a particular task so that everything happens quickly. And even though one thread is waiting for, the food to get cooked, in that time, the other thread might be able to do something else. So you have all these tasks happening at the same time, and you have all these sub-processes working as threads in your own single process or single program. So with multitasking, you are able to perform many operations together, which is helping you get increased throughput. What is throughput? Throughput is the amount of work you are able to do within a given amount of time. So for example, if you were a single person doing the task of cooking, you might take 2 hours. But if you have, let's say, 2 people, it might get boiled down to 1 or 1.5 hours as well. So that actually gives you increased throughput. Or you are a single person who is cooking and also wanting to, reply to all the people on WhatsApp, or wanting to complete a particular tutorial while you are cooking. So both the things can happen at the same time, and you have increased amount of work being done within that single hour of your time. So multitasking and multi-threading really helps you in that. Now remember, threads are independent. When you have a particular program, when it is running as a process, it has multiple threads, and each of those threads are independent, just like independent cooks in your kitchen, okay? Which means that if an exception occurs in one thread or if any problem happens in one particular task, the rest of the threads can continue unaffected. Just like your phone died and you're not able to continue working on your phone, but at least you were able to complete cooking task, in the kitchen. So multi-threading really helps us in actually degrading our program in a very graceful manner, instead of, the entire program crashing in and of itself. We will look at, how we could create a thread. There are two methods basically to create a thread. One is by extending the thread class of Java, and another is by implementing the runnable interface within Java. We would also see how we could schedule, various threads, because obviously it may be that, all the threads are running together and, life is, very happy. But it may be that, one thread is dependent on the other thread. So for example, one thread might be waiting for the other thread to complete the chopping process before those vegetables might be used to make the broth. So how do we do these kind of scheduling, make one thread wait for the other, etc.? That is something which we are going to see. We are also going to see, how to actually stop a particular thread, working ahead before we actually complete some other task by the sleep method. We will also see that at a particular time, we want to give the CPU cycles to only important threads. For example, you are working on the editor, and as I said that, the editor's main responsibility is actually give feedback to the user that whatever characters they entered are actually entered in the editor. And any other task which the editor might be using, like auto-saving, like, sending reports to the Microsoft website, let's say, or, Visual Studio website, just to make sure that, the performance of Visual Studio Code or the performance of Eclipse or the performance of Microsoft Word is happening properly. Those other things are of less priority, but the most important thing is how a user would use a particular text editor and gets feedback. So how do we assign priorities of threads within our program? That is something which we are going to see. Also, we are going to study what is a daemon thread. And then finally, we are going to look into what are thread pools and thread groups. Now, every thread which I would be creating would have different states, okay? These states are just like a life cycle. So human beings have a life cycle, right? We are, initially we are just newborns, and then we, become toddlers, and then we actually grow into teenagers, and then we grow into young adults, and then, we are in our, different stages of life. We are married, or we have children, or we are working, or we are retired, and then, finally we become too old, and then, we are a dead person. So a thread also has, these different stages in their life. So initially this thread would be simply a new thread, which is, just created newly. So that would be a new thread. When we call a method, which is known as the start method in Java, the thread becomes runnable, okay? Runnable means that CPU can now anytime start running the particular thread. And when does it actually start running? When the CPU calls the run method. So Java JVM is automatically going to call the run method. What we need to really do is make sure the thread starts. So first we need to actually start it. Then, the JVM is going to call run. It is going to be running. And then let's say, for example, we are waiting for another thread, or we go to sleep, this particular thread, we cause it to sleep. Then it actually enters the waiting state. Once it actually completes, the amount of sleeping or the amount of waiting, then the thread might go back into the running state. And then once the thread actually completes the execution, then the thread might go into, the completed or the terminated state, which is the dead state. So the thread is now over, it is dead. Now, other than start, even if, it is in a new state and, it acquires the time from the CPU, that is the time when it is actually going to resume. We also have a method known as resume. So if we actually start resuming the thread, it is going to start and it is going to become runnable. There are also other methods known as notify and notify all. That is also going to make it to the runnable state. And we are going to talk about all these things. Now the waiting state would also be called the blocked state, and the dead state would also be called the terminated state. So there's no hard and fast thing in Java or in general about threads, but these are just broad ideas about a thread, the different stages in which a thread can be.